We also have everybody's favorite doctor, Dr. Stephen Mulholland, cosmetic surgeon to the stars. Yes, we are. We got him too. And Dr. Stephen's going to talk about fat cells and getting rid of them. And I say, here to getting rid of fat cells. I'm okay with that. And it's non-invasive, so we like that a lot. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Before I throw to tape, please welcome Dr. Stephen Mulholland.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. We've got good stuff to talk about right now. We're going to see in action. Dr. Mulholland has a new product called Ultra Lipo Light, and it's a non-invasive way of melting fat. Take a look at this. You're going to like this.
Betty, Dr. Mulholland is ready to see you now.
So, Betty, to summarize, your biggest concern is this extra amount of fat that you have in the pot, in the tummy, and around the hips. And you're interested in the best result you can get without surgery.
That's right.
And my recommendation, if we're not interested in the various forms of liposuction, would be something we call Ultra Lipo Light. It's a series of about 4 to 5 treatments, and generally we see about 4 centimeters at the end of those treatments. The treatments don't require any anesthesia, there's nothing invasive, and generally you can put your clothes on right after the treatment and go back to activities.
I've been trying to lose weight that I've gained since my 2 children. I've tried exercise, dieting, and I'm here for what I hope will be a really effective, non-invasive treatment to finally get rid of that pot belly.
So Betty, if we look at the image to before and after, and this is the estimate of what we should be able to achieve, it's really quite noticeable. There is the pot before, the lower tummy, and much flatter and less of a pot after. What you're going to see with Betty is very, very common. A young lady who has dieted and exercised as much as she can, but she has these little localized areas where there's just too much fat. And so we're going to talk about a treatment, a very high-tech, cutting-edge treatment for melting little areas of bulges of excess fat and loose skin. And so we can't focally diet. You can't say, okay, I'm just going to lose calories on my tummy or my hips and my thighs. And the problem is if a woman diets or a man diets, you tend to lose it where you don't want it, off the chest, off the face, you look gaunt, and you still have that darn little pot. So we're going to do a focal treatment, non-invasive, non-surgical, called Ultra Lipo Light.
Are you comfortable, Betty?
It's fine.
Absolutely painless.
The Ultralight program is very simple. It uses 2 types of cutting-edge technologies, the VelaShape and the VelaShape. The VelaShape focuses ultrasound beams, painless ultrasound beams at the fat, vibrates the fat, and melts it. The VelaShape shoots heat, focuses heat at the fat cell, again, nothing, no downtime with the skin, and melts the fat. The 2 work beautifully together to give us about 4 centimeters, so almost 2 inches on any area that you find you can't lose through diet or exercise. No diet, no exercise, and you don't need to drink 2 gallons of water every day.
Wow. That's amazing. So, all right, let's talk about who this is for.
Well, at this time of the year, almost everybody, we're after the Christmas season.
Yeah.
And the number 1 resolution is weight or shape management in North America.
Okay.
And people are afraid of surgery. I mean,
yeah.
The people are afraid of surgery. There's anesthetic, there's risk, and there's downtime.
Well, we've heard a couple of stories about those.
And things can go wrong,
yes.
so we're going to talk about that later, how to be safe.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there's the cost. Surgery is usually more expensive. And people are afraid of pain, so the pain limitation. So this Ultralight program is great because we now have this new technology, this UltraShape, which uses painless beams of ultrasound. And every woman's had ultrasound. They've had baby's image, they've had breast image. Ultrasound doesn't hurt.
Right.
We've now this UltraShape has taken the ultrasound and focused it on the fat cell, made the fat cell the enemy. It vibrates and implodes it in a painless way.
Okay.
Because we used to have to use needles in order to melt fat. So we've taken the needle and say, no, that's still pain, we're going to get rid of that.
That's right.
So our new program, in about it depends how much fat you have, but between 4 and 7 visits, we can melt 4 centimeters pretty consistently in the tummy and the hips with the UltraShape and the VelaShape.
And you know, that makes all the difference in a pair of jeans.
Yeah, so I tell women, this is not
it?
liposuction. You're not going to be flat, but if you can grab a hunk of wiggly jiggly stuff you don't like, and it compromises what you can wear, bathing wear or day wear or evening wear, and you want to get less of a roll, then this is definitely a cutting edge opportunity.
Okay, you know, for a lot of us that really work out and we eat clean, as Jim Karras would say, we do the best, you know, there are those pockets.
There definitely is.
And why is it? The older we get, it's harder for us to get rid of them?
Well, you're absolutely right. There's sort of this genetic area where women just store fat, and for them it's the pot, the hips, the inner thighs, outer thighs, the inner knees, the arms, and the bra line area, what we call the back bacon. And that's very, very back bacon.
Now I know what to call it. I just go, ooh, okay.
Those are tough areas, and they're almost genetically predisposed to stay there. 100,000 years ago, we're chasing woolly mammoths across the tundra. We needed some fat to mobilize to perpetuate the species.
That's right.
Now we've run out of woolly mammoths, but we still have the fat.
Yeah, right.
And so you diet and exercise like crazy, but there's this centripetal area that won't go away, and you can't focally diet. So we need focal treatments like this to take some ultrasound, take that UltraShape, and just vibrate it and melt it.
So it's shaping.
It's about shaping.
It's about shaping. Like she said, she lost some weight, she exercises, eats properly, but it's not about the inner fat, it's about the outer.
So it's not about dropping 10 or 20 pounds, it's about dropping 2 to 4 centimeters.
Okay, so now no matter what your shape is, you could be a plus size. It just it reshapes you in the sense so it takes off, melts away.
It does, and some of our happier patients are actually full-figured women who are in their plus sizes. They're not all just 4, 6s, and 8s.
Right.
There's 12, 14s, and 16s that would love to have just 2, 3, 4 centimeters.
That's
here
not
or
a
there.
plus size. Those 12, 14.
No, that's
16.
your average shape. Yes, of course. That was European.
Being a member of that club. Just want to make it clear, but you know what I mean.
That was European.
But but I mean, no matter when you after the age of 40,
it gets tough.
Somebody in your office who I love and adore says you get the 40 square.
Right.
Just all kind of lands right there, and we talk about
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right.
The head, the great legs, and the square torso. And you, Kathy, you and I talk about all the time, and we eat this, and we've tried this, and it's very difficult to do. So it's shaping is everything. Shaping is everything.
And it's not that you have to be down to your ideal body weight. You need to have a vision of which few centimeters you want to shrink.
Right.
And everybody has problem areas.
Guys too. Tell me.
For guys, then it's quite the opposite. Usually for guys, it's the double chin. Maybe the male breast and the love handles.
Okay.
It's usually not the thighs. Usually, guys get what I call eggs on legs. You're a big egg on these little sticks. and so
okay, that's good. I feel that's equal time. I like that. Yeah. All right. So the cost.
It depends on the number of areas. Generally, it's about $3,000 a zone. The range in the city will be anywhere from...
For the 6-week program?
For the multi-treatment program, which is about half the price of a liposuction.
Okay, so let's say we would do it, I would visit once a month and do this?
Yeah,
is that how it happens?
It would be over about a 3-month period, so you don't have to rush in every day. It's about once a month, and then we accelerate it to the end with once a week, the last 4 weeks. So it's 7 visits, between 4 and 7 visits, depending on your kind of fat and how many there are, and about 12-week program.
So in women, we know what that area that we can do. Men?
For men, so for women, bra line, arms, inner thighs, inner knees, outer thighs, tummy, and hips. And for men, double chin, love handles, and the 50-year-old male breasts.
How long does it last?
Well, like all fat melting techniques, if you guard your weight, it's a long-term correction. Those little fat cells are waiting there to eat more if you're going to feed them. So if your weight consistent, like liposuction, this is a long-term correction because we're melting those fat cells. They go away.
Now, Stephen, for men, because it's here, let's say, can you do it during a weekday and go back into a meeting without any signs of anything
That's the nice thing about it. You do have no downtime. There's a little redness, but a little Toronto turtleneck or pull up your jacket and you're good to go.
And that's good for about like 24 hours. It's a little red.
Yes.
And again, it doesn't hurt. The other thing is, if you're thinking about having this done, if you're a guy and you're thinking about having this done, this could maybe... You might want to have it done for a permanent effect, right? That kind of gives you a showcase of what could be if you're to have surgery.
Right. So a lot of guys come in and they find out it may be 4, 5, or 6 visits. They're not as patient. Then we talk about some of the minimally invasive liposuction procedures for the neck.
Okay. Yep. Okay. We're going to take a break. That's what we're going to do. Talk more with Dr. Stephen Mulholland right after this. Stay with us. Great. Thank you. All right, Dr. Stephen Mulholland is with us today. We just talked about ultra lipolite, and it was interesting because you're saying when you're having the procedure done, you can lay down and just put your iPod on and just let them do their thing, and you walk, put your clothes back on.
It's very relaxing, not very intimidating.
Okay, and again, just to recap, this is for people that do not want to have surgery.
Right. So with the UltraShape, as you can see, it was a little computer guided handpiece sitting on your skin with ultrasound going down and treating the fat. Everyone's had ultrasound, you realize there's no pain associated.
Okay.
Now, some people say, that's not enough. I don't want to come 7 times. Give me the best result, and I'll assume some risk. Now we're talking liposuction.
And let's talk about liposuction.
That's changed a lot, actually, Marilyn.
Really?
You know, there's now 4 ways to do it. The most common way now, or requested way in my practice, is something called smart lipo, which has got a lot of awareness in the United States, fairly new to Canada. It's putting a little 2-millimeter laser inside the fat and slowly moving around and dissolving the fat. Now, it does require something inside your body, which is why it turns some patients off. But it can be done as an outpatient under local anesthesia, and you can go home right after. So smart lipo's pretty common as well.
Why don't they like it? Because what?
Because you have to make an incision, you have to put some freezing in there, you have to put something into the fat.
Yeah.
You
got to get in there.
That's creepy for some people.
Yeah,
and
okay.
they prefer the ultralipolite with nothing invasive.
Okay. So this one is just coming into the country that you're talking
I've been
about?
doing it now about 8 months. 7, 8
Okay, and the
months.
results are pretty good?
Pretty good, yeah. You still have to have some surgery. There's still a few days of downtime, but it's a huge difference from the, whatever is seen on Nip Tuck, where you're, it looks like they have to call Amnesty International for that kind of procedure.
Yeah, right.
Different.
Okay, now, you said there's 4, so that's 1.
Number 2 would be ultrasound.
Yeah.
So instead of a little laser probe, you can put in an ultrasound probe. So it's like internal UltraShape. It's an internal ultrasound wand that melts the fat.
And that's downtime a couple days?
That's more downtime because it melts more of the fat. So it's more downtime than the smart lipo, but still gentler than the traditional liposuction. And the very last one is a little power liposuction. You put it in there and this little device goes back and forth and disrupts the fat. That's a little more traumatic, usually for larger areas for multiple site treatments.
Okay. And, a lot of people are very concerned about that.
Of course, safety is always an issue. And every few years we have some tragic event where somebody dies or has a serious complication, and it really brings us back to the reality that this is surgery. All surgery has risks. And I wish I could tell all patients, don't worry, there's no risk. That's not true. The risk should be diminished as low as possible, but it's never zero. And so, patients need to know the right questions to ask, because if you dissect a lot of these cases, most of the risks might have been able to be stripped away had they been just a little more diligent.
In what way, though?
Well, I guess there's, I would say the top 5 things that a patient should ask.
Yeah.
Number 1, if you're having surgery, probably a good idea if your physician's a surgeon.
Yes.
So start with a surgeon. Now, you can advertise cosmetic surgeon. It does not mean you're a surgeon. There is no specialty of cosmetic surgery.
Yeah.
So a lot of consumers assume, get on a plane, your pilot's trained. You assume the plane is looked after. The government does regulate that. They've chosen not to regulate the cosmetic surgery industry. So a cosmetic surgeon does not mean they're a plastic surgeon. But you can simply go on the website of the Ontario College of Physicians and Surgeons, look up the doctor's name, and they have to list exactly what they're trained in. So if they're a non-surgeon practicing cosmetic surgery, that's fine. They should just have to disclose that's what I do, but they don't have to.
They don't.
So make sure it's a surgeon. Number 2, make sure it's a certified facility. There is an organization in Canada that certifies the office to do surgery. Many offices, in fact, the vast majority aren't. So it's like going on an airplane that's not been looked after by the
no maintenance.
With no maintenance.
Yeah.
You would never do that when you're flying a plane. Same
So
with
what are we
surgery.
looking for?
So a surgeon that's a surgeon, a facility that's certified, and ask, is your facility certified?
Okay.
You want to make sure they use an anesthesiologist. It's like having a co-pilot. You don't want to fly the plane without a co-pilot. So you need an anesthesiologist that specializes in looking after the physiology while you're looking after
Who's got a certificate?
Right. So do you use an anesthesiologist? And last but not least, do I have the capability to stay overnight and have a real nurse looking after me overnight, so I don't have to manage at home where something could happen? Who's going to look after me?
Okay.
And those 4 or 5 things, plus do your research, ask other patients, ask around. And at the end of the day, when all things are said and done, there's still a risk that you could have a serious complication. So treat it like a serious decision.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I still have people asking me about my tummy tuck. When did I have that done?
Quite a few years ago.
Yeah, and I still have people, and more than asking about the way it was done is how I felt about it, and it was the downtime from the patient's point of view. So it's always good to ask. I don't mind answering those questions. Let's talk about plastic surgery and just the fact that you are a big proponent of doing a little bit at a time throughout maybe 15, 20 years rather than one big shot. Because sometimes I think we wait too long.
You're absolutely right.
Check out Hollywood. That they get this thing done and they look like a completely different person. And as you said, they look how old up here. And what did you just say to me? They look like 30 up here and 90 down here.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of, you see 2 types of patients. They come in, maybe a patient in their early 60s, mid-60s, and they want to do some surgery, and they say, but I don't want to look different. It's pretty hard to be mid-60s and not look different.
Yeah.
It may be good different, but it'll be different.
Yeah.
A lot of patients, however, now select to come in maybe in their mid-40s, early 40s, maybe do a little eye tweak or brow tweak, low recovery, low risk, come in the early 50s, maybe another little area, early 60s, another little area. So every decade they're managing one room in the house, so the whole house kind of looks always about the same. And another mistake I see is they always work on the face, leave the body alone. Then they come in their early 60s saying, oh, I look great, I look 49, 50 natural, but I look 90 below the neck. And to do big body surgery when you're older is just not safe because it takes long.
You're talking about tummy tuck, what
tummy
else?
tucks,
Lipo?
and breast enhancement and body shaping. And so usually take care of the dust on the body after the kids, because usually you do a tummy tuck, breast or fat shaping once, and if you're diligent about your weight, you're going to look good forever.
The longevity is
absolutely.
Right.
And then pick away at your face and little areas as they start to bother you. Don't wait for everything to fall apart and then go for the restoration.
That's right. He's honest, I'm telling you. Okay, so what is the cosmetic procedure du jour?
Right now, this time of the year, it's all about the body, and certainly UltraShape and Smart Lipo would be the two most common things I see. Ultimately, in our practice and in our society, the aging face gets a lot of attention now, because a lot of the people are 35 to 55, they're growing older, and it's hard to put clothing on your face in our culture.
That's right, that's very true. Okay, now the other thing too is you are a big proponent of, get the weight to where you want it to, if you're going to have major surgery. Get the weight to where you want to be. And also, before you do anything on your face, you also say, make sure your skin is in great condition. That's why you have other procedures too.
Yeah, a lot of patients come into my practice after 3 or 4 years of photofacials and Botox and soft tissue fillers.
Photofacials are those that take out what? The irregularities
even out your color, browns and reds.
The red little marks you get under your nose, all
skin
those things.
tightening like Refirm and Thermage. And so I see some very healthy skin wanting to lift it. Then I see some skin that's got all the problems and it's droopy, and we offer us a program for the skin and the face. You don't want to have bad skin lifted. It looks like bad skin in a nice position.
So you have to kind of do that before you do the next thing. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you. Let's thank Dr. Steve Mulholland because it's great information. Never one to hide behind anything, that's for sure. So investigate the Ultra Lipo Light too. We have to take a break. Thanks for your time. We'll be right back. More Makeover Madness when we return.
Tonight in our Nip and Tuck series, some actors looking for a leg up on their competition now turn to liposuction without the surgery to keep those directors focused on their talent.
Why don't you just say it? Just be a man. You hate me. You hate being with me.
For 25-year-old actress Sheila Hughes, emotions can run wild on stage and off. She struggles every day in an industry that's monopolized by beauty.
Who wouldn't love to be 5'10" with legs that go up to your chin? But reality check, that's not me.
Sheila worked hard to trim down using diet and exercise, but even that wasn't enough.
That's why I might not be getting some of the work, is because of my size.
So, in a desperate attempt to get rid of those pesky pounds and unwanted cellulite, she turned to the latest in cosmetic surgery called LipoLite.
Today we'll be doing an injection technique called DC Lipo. It's deoxycholate, a bile salt that is injected and shrinks the fat down. And then another treatment using a laser and light device that shrinks the fat as well.
Sheila focused on her inner and outer thigh. The procedure lasted 45 minutes, and immediately after, she was able to return to the stage.
The reason it interested me was it's non-invasive and it's not surgery. It's very simple, it's very short. There's no pain, there's no side effects.
These are the astonishing results on another patient. So far, Sheila has undergone 3 of 8 treatments. After the final procedure, she will have lost 4 centimeters of excess fat. And at $4,000, Sheila says it's worth every penny.
I'll have myself ready for the audition and dressed and walk in and not have to worry about, well, how big does my butt look in these jeans?
It sounds almost too good to be true, melting fat away without exercise, diet, or surgery. Our health specialist, Laura DiBattista, has the verdict tonight on non-surgical liposuction.
Hey, check this out. Ladies, look familiar? Well, it used to be impossible to get that cottage cheesy fat off of your thighs. That is, until LipoLite. Luz Maria Perez is getting her 11th LipoLite treatment. She has 5 more to go. This is what she looked like when she started. See a difference? She does.
I've noticed a big difference around my thigh area where the bubbly look effect is, and my when I do wear my skirts, they fit so much more nicer. They just fit really nice, and the pants as well.
The lipolite is very good at melting fat, tightening skin, and smoothing cellulite.
The infrared light penetrates deep into the skin and is supposed to break up the fat. So it's not really about weight loss.
So my weight is still the same, but I lost 12 centimeters. That's quite a bit. I'm really happy.
Granted, Luz Maria looked pretty good before. Here are some of Lipolite's more dramatic results.
The top 3 areas for women are the hips and the tummy, number 1. Number 2 would be the thighs, inner and outer. After that would be less common areas like bra line. For men, it's love handles and the 50-year-old male boobies.
I feel so much more confident of wearing my bikini. I'm not able to see the little cellulite effect on my legs, so I'm really happy with the results.
So how much would you pay to get rid of your cellulite? Well, how about $1,500? That's what it costs to treat one large area. To do the 3 main areas, which are the tummy, thighs, and the arms, well, that is a special at $39.95. Laura Batista, City Pulse.
For more on how Lipolite works to help you slim down, plus a look at the different types of traditional liposuction, go to our website, pulse24.com, and click on Pulse on Health. Gord?
Well, that's one way you can make yourself look and feel better. Next, our feature, The Livable City.
Went out, hit the field, did some investigations with non-surgical options. So let's take a look, and then we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
Are you one of many who just can't seem to lose the last couple of pounds? Or maybe you've lost the weight and now you've been left with loose, flabby skin. Exercise and diet are a good place to start. However, there also is a new non-invasive treatment that can help attack those tough spots. The best part about it, you don't have to go anywhere near a knife.
Well, there's so many clients just like that and potential patients who exercise, they diet, they just have those stubborn areas on the tummy, on the hips, on the outer inner thighs of unwanted fat. What do you do about the last 2 inches? Or you lose a lot of weight, you're happy with your weight, and your skin sags. Or you've had a baby and your skin sags. Or you have the curse of cellulite. Those are the 4 big things that bother women. Too much fat, too much skin, too much cellulite, or all 3.
And flab for men.
And flab for men, yeah. Usually male breasts and love handles are the 2 most common body areas. In the past, we really didn't have a lot to offer. I used to say to women and men, that's why we make candlelights and dimmers, because we just don't have a lot to offer. Okay. Now we do. Now we have a treatment we call Lipolite, and it uses radiofrequency current, like we used to tighten faces, but it sends a deep heat into the fat, laser-like infrared energy into the fat, and it turns on those processes that normally and safely break down unwanted fat. At the same time, it smoothens your cellulite and it tightens your skin. So now we have a weapon against all 3 things: loose skin, loose flab, excess fat, and cellulite. This is the Lipolite treatment head, and as you can see, it's not very threatening, certainly less threatening than the liposuction cannula. And there are 2 large rollers. These titanium rollers are radio frequency current electrodes, which is a fancy way of saying it sucks the fat and skin that's loose up into the treatment head and sends a deep electrical current into that skin and that fat. At the top is an infrared laser light that goes into the skin and heats the fat. So the radio frequency current stimulates collagen and elastin, the things that we lose as we get loose and flabby and aging, much like stretching elastic band. We get frayed. This builds the frays back up.
Okay, what about pain and time commitment?
It's very, very tolerable. You put this on the skin. It draws the fat up into the treatment head and the device, and it just starts to do its thing.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Dr. Stephen Mulholland is here of Spa Medica. He's a cosmetic and plastic surgeon. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Les.
Thanks for coming to see us again. Now, we've got all sorts of questions here, so we'll get right to them on cosmetic surgery, on the injections, everything else. So first, this is from Kelly in Oakville. I recently lost a lot of weight and now have flab in the abdomen area and inner thighs. Is there any way to firm those areas by working out, or will I have to get it removed via liposuction?
Once you've lost weight, and it's good to keep your weight under control for health reasons, if you've got extra skin, it's extraordinarily hard, if not impossible, to tone the skin by making your muscles stronger.
Right.
That's the reality. And so if your skin's really, really, really loose, sometimes you need to remove some of that, and that's cosmetic surgery.
Right.
If it's just a little bit loose, we've got some new treatments now, different lasers and radio frequency electrical energy that can tighten and firm your skin.
Okay, and we have to talk about this lipo light, because are you the only person in Toronto or in Canada that does it?
I spent about 9 months working on this, and you'll see it more and more, but it's extraordinarily exciting because we've got so much for the face: Botox, injectable fillers, photofacials, skin treatments. We've got a lot we can do for the face without a knife, but for the body, all we really had was recommendations like candlelight and dimmers and loose-fitting clothes.
Exactly. But it's essentially something that melts fat, the lipolite, and helps to reduce cellulite. And I don't know if I know maybe a couple women who don't have cellulite. Who I don't hang around with very much. Otherwise, it's a horrible problem.
I think it's about 70% of women over 50 by the age of 50 and 50% by the age of 30 have some degree of cellulite. So what this does is it takes external energy, radio frequency current, and infrared laser-like energy and treats it through the skin, melting the fat a bit like butter and smoothing the cellulite. And so this is poised to replace a lot of the small and modest liposuction procedures that patients have.
So if you can do that, I know we have something going on outside.
Someone really wants it done.
Kevin will pay attention. Yeah, really. Kevin will get on that and tell us what's going on in a minute. So the inches will go away. The fat melts like butter, but where does it go?
Good question. And when you do this over 8 weeks, all we're really doing is using heat to stimulate normal metabolic fat reduction, as you would when you restrict. So when you caloric restrict your body, you shrink fat all over. The problem is women often are disproportionate. The lower body's bigger than the upper.
Yeah.
We can take this and use heat to cause localized weight loss, safe, predictable weight loss, in localized frustrating areas: outer thigh, inner thigh, tummy, and hips, the most common.
That's going to be a popular one.
It is going to be very popular.
No doubt about it. Okay.